this is the building here. This is the building that I was thinking about, or I'm gonna make an offer on. It's 3,200 square feet, but it's ratty, you know. And then this is already, there's gonna be potholes here in no time.
What's your current square footage in the...
So that building is 3,600 and I have 2,000 of it.
Okay.
So my thought process was stay there and buy this, gut it, and make this just warehouse. But I mean, that only buys me a little bit of time. The guy wants $550 for this, but $550 includes 2 little lots here. But I don't want those lots. So while I was doing this whole process, or this whole discussion, the guy that owns these lots up here sold this guy half of this lot and then partitioned it out to where I can get a size that I want. You can see, so here's Hermosa, right? So that's the road right there. And so here is the parcel we're talking about, which is, so here's the house. That's the little Florida cracker house there. And you can see where the telephone pole is, this little jog out here. And then the lot line. So the lot line is like basically the telephone pole.
Straight back to the road.
Yeah, so this guy back here bought this whole lot. Because this is all one big parcel, and they chopped it up, and he just wanted this section.
Who's that little house for?
That's gonna be my office.
The fence?
Right? So it goes down.
Straight out.
Right.
So what's your access to this lot?
Right there.
So I'll have a 25-foot easement, basically at that road.
Easement, that's what I was
Right
wondering.
along those trees in the tree line there. So it'll be right here. So we're gonna bring the road in right here. The trick is we're gonna do a feasibility study on the tractor trailers getting in and out. So all of this would be parking right here, right in front of here. Yeah, I know this looks super shoddy, but I think this is gonna actually be pretty cool. So this is 1,200 square feet, right? So what we're gonna do is vault this, right? Because I don't want 8-foot ceilings. So we're gonna vault this, or maybe even just pull the roof off.
How would you pull the roof off and then put big higher trusses with maybe a 6 and 12 pitch?
Then we're gonna do a spiral duct right down the middle of the building. And then what we're gonna do is have this whole center section is gonna be open. So all these walls are gonna come out.
Have you seen that?
There was a fire in here at one point.
Yeah, you can see. I think what happened, someone's just burning, you know, they came here
living in
living
here.
together.
There's squatters in here or something?
Yeah, someone was squatting in here.
That's all smoke right there.
Yep.
And it caught fire, there's the trusses are not.
So we'll gut all this. So from this wall will stay. So this will come over. Podcast studio right here. Same thing on the opposite side, but this will be the bullpen of awesome. This is where I'll have 100 Bryces working.
Beauty of this is block wall too, so
Right.
that's not.
Right. This was an add-on. So this would be cool. So we'll have this here will be the podcast bathroom. We'll have access here too as well. So I can host people. Hopefully someday I can have people come here.
You just clean this up, it's really nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Make this one big bathroom. This here, a big conference table. I'm gonna wire this all up for cameras. So I'm gonna have like on-wall network cameras. So I don't have to worry about having cameras on the table, like webcams and crap like that. And then we'll have a big table. Someone will probably have like a mixing, whatever. I gotta figure out how to do that. So if anybody's an audio engineer or expert, let me know. So I'm gonna do audio, video, live stream, everything I need to do right from here. And that way I can close this off. I don't know if this is an exterior door. We'll put an insulated exterior door on here so we can lock this down. So if I have 10 people working in here, we can host a quiet, really good sounding podcast.
That's a Hall of Fort doors.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna get rid of the kitchen and I'll just keep a bathroom on this level somewhere. I guess probably just leave it here. And then I'm gonna build my office, build this a wall of glass straight across and build my office here. So take all this out, got all this. And I would love to do polished concrete, but that's not gonna be an option here. So I'm gonna have to do I almost wanna just skim coat this, stucco coat, paint it gray, the walls, the interior walls. Make it look super modern. So although it looks super, 1970s Florida cracker house, I think this can be pretty neat for what it's, for what I need it to be.
You do hardwood on the floors or what?
I would do something or some sort of tile.
What is the intended purpose of this if you're going to have a bigger building?
Well, this is going to be where this will be media.
Okay.
This will be what people will make
So Bryce,
product creation and things like that. Get the media people
Graphic
in an
design,
actual
like that.
office environment, and it's here. I mean, I wouldn't build this, but it's here, so we're going to use it. So again, access is going to come in there. Building is going to go 6,000 square foot building here.
Right.
So that tree line goes all the way out to cornered up over there.
That's going to replace the warehouse. What we have now.
Correct. So that'll be a 50 by 120 if we can fit it.
So it's twice as big.
Right.
And that's strictly.
So trucks come down. A lot of this, as much as possible, will be pavement. Trucks come down. You figure a 60-foot truck comes down, backs in. On this side, we're going to have likely loading docks. So we'll have a couple of loading docks on this side of the building. So it'll be roughly 2 times the size of the building I have in one spot. So that's where I'll do warehousing. It's the same thing you see there. Assembly. Yeah. So I'll separate out the office, because what I don't want to do is take this building and have all kinds of offices in it, because then I lose all of what I really need, which is warehousing. So this little thing solves my problem.
So
I could pack 15, 20 humans in here and get a lot of stuff done.
Your shipping station stuff.
Yeah. So like accounting, anybody, graphic artists, the people that I need to, whatever it is I make up that day, that's what they'll be doing here. And I'll host people in the podcast studio, so that's the intent. So I have a pretty good idea what's going in here, but what I need to figure out is how do I design this? I still need bathrooms, I still need a break room, I still probably need an office or 2 for whomever's running that. But I mean, shoot, if we're doing, I could probably do 7 or 8 million out of there. I could do 40 million out of 6,000 square feet if we do it efficiently. So we're gonna take, so even though he just bought this, so this plot right here, this because he's going to want this for frontage. I don't care about being on the street.
As long as you have the easement and you want this chunk here, really.
Right. So I would want this because I could build a 15,000 square foot building on this here.
And you'd have and you could probably have semis be able to loop around too if you wanted to some way.
Yeah.
If it's big enough. Because you were talking way out there by the time you.
Correct. In the middle of that. In the middle of that area.
Road. Yeah.
And then I'm also thinking wash bay in here. Just like my pole barn. They're not quite as big as my pole barn, but that kind of concept, dedicated wash bay. That way, if we do a detailing company, that I have a place to wash.
And bring over there to do whatever else.
Pulley, wash area, all that.
For you, would you just have a straight open wash bay, or would you do something?
Well, I'd have a room behind it with all the stuff in it, and then, but basically what I have.
You gotta have something to put the pressure washer and everything
Correct.
else in.
Yeah. The guy that owns the property, he, he's selling that. Right, he's a 50, 60-year-old guy. He, he's going to hold the note on the building, on the construction. So I have virtually no risk. He's doing it because he's gotten to know me and he thinks it's a good risk. So I no money down, $6,500 a month, and 3% interest. Pay until I'm paid.
And you get to design what you want.
What he's not going to do is if I want some crazy thing that he couldn't resell, but it's going to be general enough.
Because the collateral is the property. So if you did something crazy with it, he couldn't get his money back.
Right.
Yeah.
So this will be the only 6,000 square foot building in this entire area. So it'll be the biggest warehouse type building, metal building around here. And so if he can get it done, then there's no real risk to him because he could sell it. And then the beauty for me is that I don't want to have to come up with, like, if I went to a bank, I'd have to put $200,000-$300,000 down, which I could, but I need as much cash as possible for inventory. Every new product I launch costs me, $10, $20, $30, $40, $50,000 that I have to come up with cash. And I want to try to do this with my money, not somebody else's money, because I don't want anybody telling me what to do. And so, this is one of those things that I would never think is possible. I think you got to go to a bank and you get whatever a bank can give you. The guy has the property, he has money, So he's going to build it with his cash. He's probably going to build it with the cash he got from selling that property.
Yeah, exactly.
He's going
That's
to
what I was
then build
thinking.
this, and then he'll generate an amazing return. He'll make a bunch of money.
Yep.
I get to save the cash flow issue.
And he'll cash out.
Right. I could probably build it for a little less than what he's going to charge me. But the day I walk in, I think it's
but
probably going to
think
be about
about it.
$700,000 to do this.
Think about how long
But
you
the-
have to stay in it to even
For it to pay off.
pay for it.
Yeah.
You know, so
I'm paying $2,400 a month now for what we're in.
Yeah. And
I'm going to pay
3%,
I'm going to pay $6,500 a month at 3%. And I don't buy anything on monthly payments, but cash flow wise,
Yeah.
it's a piece of cake.
And even if you are overpaying, the construction loan would far exceed 3%. So
Yeah.
really, the percentage you're making up almost offsets the
Right.
increase in value.
And it's off the
you're
books.
gonna pay. Yeah, exactly.
From a credit perspective,
Yeah,
from a
yeah.
bank perspective.
Yep.
So I'm not levered as heavily.
Yeah,
So if I do need to go get a line of credit or something like that, you know, that's an off the books loan.
Kind of
That's an agreement between he and I. And that's the way a lot of this stuff is done, you know, in the you know, commercial world.
did he come to you with
Yeah.
this idea?
He
knowing
walked
what
in.
you were-
He walked in the building the day my parents moved down here. Literally that day. And I said, someday I think we're going to grow out of here. And we had nothing in there. He hadn't come. You hadn't come. We didn't build the racks or anything. None of that was there yet. And he came in like a few weeks before that. And then he walked in just last week when I was about to make an offer on that building up there. Try to buy the building without that goofy little landlocked lot. And he said, I want to build you a building. And then the reason why he came up with, you know, the terms was because he saw, shoot, this guy, there were like 5 people there visiting. There were, you know, everybody there was working. Michelle was there working. So there's like 8 people in there working. I'm running around like crazy. And he walks in, and I think he saw, well, shoot, this is legit.
Pretty
You
good
know, the
risk,
guy's going to
yeah.
be able to pay me. And my Porsche's sitting out front. And so I think he's
Yeah.
thinking, well, shoot,
Good risk.
this is a good, this is a good deal to take.
Yeah.
And
you're
worst
young,
worst
you're
case, he comes and takes the building. But I'll own it. You know, I'll own it. It'll be deeded to me, and I'll have a mortgage, and we'll have the documents drawn up. And so now I just got to figure out what I'm going to put on it. All right, so we talked about where it's going to sit, right? It's going to sit back here.
Yep.
Now, what does it look like? That's the question. So here's what I came up with. So we have, this is 120, 60 feet or 50 feet deep, so that's 6,000 square feet.
Yep.
Loading dock door, man door. So these are at loading dock height.
Yep.
Regular door. Now, a lot of this depends on what happens here, right? So let's pretend it's just this building, only bigger. That's
Yep.
pretty easy, right? So we have this area over here. We'd probably want to push the warehouse and leave this like a third of the building, right? So we would do Swiss Tracks. Swiss Tracks would run this line here. And then we'd have, you know, Sonic cabinets back here. I'd basically probably end up doing the same exact thing. You know, I would put a lift, probably recess it instead. The only disadvantage of recessing it, then you lose 4 inches of height. And now I'm really crouching down.
You
So-
would use the same lift, right?
Well, I don't know.
Potentially get a taller.
The problem I'm running into with Twin Bush is they don't have them. So I
Yeah.
think I need to find a new lift company.
Bad tap man on.
Yeah, I mean Benpack, the SP7X. I've convinced Benpack to let me sell this stuff. So anyway, so this side, what I would do is drywall. So this would be drywalled, finished, drywalled. Now, what throws a wrench in this, let's say we did obsessed garage detailing. So if I did detailing in this facility, if I start to do detailing, I don't think it would be long term in here. We would want a separate detailing facility. That's another thing that if the business, so let's say in a year if the business doubles and I have this building, I would just keep this one too. I'd keep this lease, wait till Chris is ready to sell, buy this whole building, do other stuff here, even though it's a couple hundred yards away. Do detailing here.
Because you could have a place, you could split this half up into, let's say, detailing, the other half into product development, or actually,
Or training, or
Yeah,
you know,
whatever,
whatever.
anything,
Yeah.
yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah,
But, you know, for now, today, if I had 6,000 square feet, I wouldn't know what to do with it all.
yeah.
But if I start doing detailing, do more product development, I start doing training, and now it becomes problematic. So if we go from having 6 people shipping to 16 people shipping, now I need more packing and shipping stations. That's the key here. So think about this logically. So this is probably bigger. I was just kind of playing with the size of this thing here. So this is where it gets tricky. Is it if this is detailing here, then you're going to want somewhere I think where people to enter.
Yep.
Yeah, not just a door by
Straight
the
in.
But again, I don't think I want a tradition. I know I don't want a traditional detailing thing.
Yeah.
Like I don't want it to be like going to your auto mechanic.
Right.
It would be appointment only, boutique. You don't have any options.
They would drop the card, not a customer lounge. and
You
all
get
that.
what we just did. That's it.
Yeah.
We don't do anything else but that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Corrections code.
With the addition of PPF.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to do it the way I'm going to walk out. I'm going to look at your car. I'm going to tell you what you need,
Yep.
and that's the only choice you get.
Yep.
And I don't know. Maybe that's a terrible idea, but and you know,
No, because
price according-
those are the
That's the
customers
same
you want.
idea you use
That's
with the
exactly.
products.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so
what
they
people
know.
are coming to you now.
Right.
Is because they can trust what you are
Right.
going to tell them.
And we're in an area where I could pull from, locally we have the Villages, which isn't a good demo, but we pull from Orlando, we pull from Jacksonville, and I think people would ship their cars. That'd be another thing is to create a shipping service, even possibly have a guy that I hire, I get a truck and trailer
One
and go
guy's
get
all
it
you need
myself.
to do. Yeah. It's easy. Yeah.
Because what I would want is if I'm shipping my car, what I'm looking for is some guy to come get my
Complete
car
service. Yeah. Turn
and take
around.
it there and then go get it when I'm done with it and bring it back.
You don't want to have to worry about a shipping company who
Yeah.
you can refer that's
Right.
Yeah.
reasonable.
But again, I also don't think it's feasible to be doing $8,000 details.
No.
What we did isn't an $8,000 detail. That's a $2,500 deal.
Mm-hmm.
A $1,500 to $3,500, and then you, depending on whether you do PPF or
Because
not.
we just happen to do a lot more to that car than just detail it.
Yeah.
But in reality, two
Yeah,
guys
the
can knock
detail
that car
part,
out
yeah.
in a day and a half.
That's like a weekend job.
yeah,
That's what I mean, that's basically what I do is I take
Right.
a car Friday and then they come pick it up Sunday.
yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think we're not going to chase. We're going to do what we would all want done to our car. I'm going to give people what they don't know. I'm not going to give them options of, well, we'll do a 1-step for 800 and a 2-step. No, you're going to get what it needs. That's the only option. And the main reason I would do detailing is if I had the right people. I'm not going to be detailing anybody's car, but they will be doing it the way that I would have done it. I'm going to send them to whatever training they need to go to and train them the way I need to train them. I already have a couple of guys that I would hire to do it. I'd have to figure out how to pay them, or how do they want to be paid? Do you want to be paid salary? Or do you want to be paid commission? How do you want to be paid? And then the key is to make it better than it would have been if they were doing it on their own. Give them access to things they wouldn't have. Give them opportunity to grow, all that kind of stuff. And then, because I don't want to deal with the customers, other than shaking their hand and kissing babies, that kind of thing. But we would build a very different, very specific. It would be obsessed garage detailing. It would be consistent. So if I do that here, again, I still think like you guys. You don't want to come here and go into a waiting room. You want to come here and hang out in the back,
Yeah.
right? I don't give a crap about insurance. I'll get whatever insurance it takes. Every shop you go to, they have this bull crap excuse that because of insurance you can't go in the back.
I mean, for me, if I'm hanging out in the space, I want to see what's going on. Give me a couch in
Or a rolling stool.
Yeah.
or a stool and a table,
Something
where I
to
can put
sit
my
on,
computer,
but nothing
you
like.
know,
Yeah.
and hang out and watch.
So I don't
or
want
do whatever.
this isn't like concierge bullcrap that everybody thinks everybody wants, like a dealership. Think dealership with donuts and coffee and all that crap.
Yeah.
I don't want any of that stuff.
Yeah.
I want to go in the back and hang out with the guys that are working on my car.
Yeah.
I know that they don't, but I want the people that I'm going to have that'll be working here are going to be good enough that
They'll handle with
they
someone
don't care if
talking,
anybody's watching them
asking
or
questions or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
not a big
So,
deal.
so with this, I could see you setting it up just like this, but bigger. And
Yeah.
then if that detailing portion takes off, that's when you go into a new, smaller building as
Right.
an investment for a detail.
So the biggest question is the interior walls, right? So as this sits here, so this would be bathroom back to back. So there'd really be one wall here, right? So
Somewhere in the middle. Yeah.
and that's a really big bathroom there. So smaller than that. So bathroom, break room, man door here. But this is kind of awkward. Like where do you come in? Right? Where do you come into the building?
Yeah.
I mean, and so my original thought was,
Isn't there a door between the two bay doors?
yeah. So the big question is, do we do an entry? This as an entry that we're not using.
Why don't you just take the door between the two bay doors and move it over there between?
Yeah, here,
Yeah.
and then this
Right.
would be our entry, but it wouldn't be like an entry room.
So this is the entry to the detail side, and that's the entry to the warehouse side.
Right.
Yeah.
But do I do like an actual
Like a storefront entry.
storefront entry?
Yeah.
Do I do like a big glass door and you walk in and this isn't a bathroom, but this is
What about like
the entryway?
I don't think you need a storefront.
we
necessarily.
visited places where it's really open and it's really not floor to ceiling wall, whatever. They have like a half wall. You walk in, there's a half wall separating the bay areas, but you can still see, and you can have storage or shelves or something. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You don't need an official like
So
compartmentalized.
Yeah, like do you want to
entry.
display stuff? Because you have those shelves, you have this stuff.
But I think the warehouse is kind of the display because
Yeah,
that's what
it is,
that's
it
what
is.
we all
Right.
get off
Yeah.
on is going out and look at
Yeah.
all those products lined up, and then knowing you have just a little kiosk that you could say when you go pick I don't know if you're going to let people go pick the products, but let's
Yeah.
say you go to cash out, you just have a little place, a kiosk like you do here, where you don't really need a storefront. You just walk in. Here's this beautiful warehouse, all the stacked items. You pick what you want. You go to the kiosk. You slide your credit card, buy your stuff.
right.
You know, if you're getting your car detailed, like you said, you got a couple cozy chairs over there they can watch, ask questions. Keep it kind of like that. I mean, that's how I would do it. I think it suits what you already do.
So now I need a place for people, right? So there are going to be 15, 20 people over here working, right?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So I need a break room and I need bathrooms.
Yep.
And then I probably should do at least an office.
Oh yeah. And you can, and if you have enough height, you can do a 2-story office too, so you don't eat up a lot of floor space.
That's a damn good idea. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
I would flip.
So do I do this in the front or in the back?
The bathrooms?
This
Oh,
this area, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So do we do
Kind of like
this?
having the warehouse area in one.
See, because my original
These are the
thought,
entry
my
and
original
the
thought,
by the entryway.
But you can also do it where you have the offices are on top of the bathroom and break room.
yeah.
Are
Yeah.
those really going to be highly traveled offices, or they're just going to be kind
It
of?
doesn't matter. You have a staircase
off.
goes up. The guys are up there. That's
Somebody's
Yeah.
going to be ops, you know.
and that person's best up high, looking overseeing
Yeah.
the warehouse. So you put it on top of that. You'll utilize space better. It's a big enough office. You could fit 4, 5, 6 people up there.
You
Because
do a
we're
window
gonna-
wall.
Yeah.
That's how I did it. When I built our offices at work, I put them on top of.
So we do break room down here, and I would want this to be more open, you know, just a walk-in type kitchen thing. Because clearly, I mean, every single time that people come, we need a kitchen.
Yeah.
You know, just because, especially if I'm going to be doing trainings and stuff like that.
You need a mini ice maker.
I need a new
New air?
A new air, yeah. So
Do you,
now
want,
let
do you want the bathroom really to be in where if you're walking into a space,
Yeah.
do you want the bathroom on that in that presentation
first
of that
thing you
area?
see.
or-
What I would say
Well, the
is
door's closed.
flip the bathroom doors here. So bathroom, close this, and then this is the break room coming in from that way. If you're going to keep that shape, anyway.
yeah, I mean we can make this whatever.
You can flip flop it however you want.
Right. Because how big? That's 17
So
feet.
where's your like shipping stations? I know that your mom and
All
dad
right.
looking at them over here. They wish
So
they had more table space.
Right. So let's talk about flow here. Right. So obviously stuff is
Product
coming
comes
in.
in there, yeah.
Now, do we need at grade level entrance here? That's the other thing I'm thinking. So these are deck height.
Well, yeah, for UPS and stuff. If you're not shipping always on a semi, you're going to need a space that's at floor height to get in and out.
Right. So I'm thinking this needs to be another door here.
Yeah.
So probably a 10 by 10, just like that. So 10 by 10 door, man
UPS.
door here,
Yeah.
and then
And you know the loading docks, you're going to end up having to sink them down in that ground.
well, the property runs off to the right a little.
Right.
So yeah.
naturally you sink them in so the truck when it pulls in, its deck height is at your
Right.
that floor height.
Right. So now workflow wise, so you come in, staging, pallets will get, what do you call it? Shipping and receiving. So we have income, outgoing. So let's say this is the yellow taped off. So incoming pallets here, outgoing pallets here. And now remember, we're talking about a 6,000 square foot building where we're talking about possibility of 1,000 packages a day. We're not talking 15,000 packages a day. And we're doing now, I mean, what do we have out there? I mean, we're doing 100 to 200 packages a day. So in this type of facility, again, we're headed to 1,000 or so.
Yeah.
1,000 packages of that size are probably 4 pallets.
Yep.
Eventually, what we'll have is we'll have a semi parked out here.
And they'll just automatically
and they'll just swap trailers like Adams does. So we fill up a UPS trailer. They bring they dump the empty, grab the full,
Yep.
take off.
Yep.
And so this is at grade level for regular UPS DHL trucks, coming in.
And even if you have a
Yeah,
UPS
parts.
trailer, there's going to be people that want expedited
Parts
shipping. That the
delivery.
ground stuff won't go. The ground stuff will go in the big trailer.
Right.
The expedited shipping will still go UPS
Right.
normal.
So now, this obviously I'm just kind of laid out here, but this is what we have here. This is 3 foot by 12 foot, but these are steel shelves that are flat. I like flat shelves because I can put bottles on them. Because
Yeah.
if you do pallet racking, it's just
They fall
wire.
over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just wire racking. And
What's
stuff.
the space between your shelving? Did
So
you
this
measure
here
it
I
or
did
just like-
this here I did 6 feet, which is plenty sufficient. Because these won't accept a pallet. You drop a pallet and have to load it.
But you could still get a little narrow gauge forklift with the carriage that turns and sets on, comes in and out. And you could still get through there with even 6 feet.
So this would be your normal 4 foot pallet racking. This pressure washers and all the heavy bulky stuff would go. So pallets would go on here. So I need enough room to get the forklift in here to load the pallet. So I have to. I'm sure you can just look that up, Google search that, and tell you exactly what we need.
Yeah.
So all our packing and shipping would go here. So I'd have various packing. Probably start with two just similar to like what I have here, and I have a team of 4 at each packing station. That's what I'm gonna do. So a team of 4.
So you're going to have tabling going all across this way. So you'd have to come around all that with a forklift and load everything from the back side.
That's the question, right? So
do you
flow.
need an assembly area for certain parts, or are you going to combine that with the packing and shipping type?
Assembly is going to be in this area.
Okay, yeah.
So we're going to pull assembly away. And then, again, we'll just move these out,
Because
keep
you'll
pushing
start
this out.
assembling and stockpiling the shelves with assembled product rather than assembling as you
Right.
ship.
You figure what I have now is 1, 2, 3 of these. And we're going to probably be able to do, 6 or 8 million on 3 of these. So I'm talking 1, 2, 3. So doubling that with the possibility to triple it. And then having massive storage here. So this would be 3x. So let's say this adds another 2x. So that's 5 times capacity what I have now. With what will likely happen is the warehouse will push all this cool stuff out at some point. And that's that
And
necessitates.
that's okay. And if you do have detail in there, that's when you find another place to put it.
Oh, it's the same thing we're happening here. The warehouse is pushing
Yep, yep.
out my
It's a fun area.
my product development area.
Yeah.
I mean, you have just enough space for what you have today when it's encroaching.
So the hard part here, let's see if we can put a table in here. So the hard part is going to be the flow of incoming, outgoing forklifts and people packing, because it is only 50 feet deep. So that's the issue that I run into. And I think this will come natural. So building design really doesn't matter for this kind of stuff.
That's all
Because the shell doesn't change.
Right,
It's
the
just
shelves-
how you put things inside of it. So.
Right, so I'm gonna have people, and these will be much bigger.
I mean, lighting sorta could be utilized better if you knew how you were gonna
right.
put things, but
And in the beginning, I'm gonna take what I have here and just put it in there,
yeah.
and then just start putting people in place.
The other thing too is what about see where the shelving is?
Mm-hmm.
If you put a table at the end of each shelving unit, and that's a packing station, so that way you keep the lanes all open and you still have packing. Just turn that
Yeah.
table 90 degrees and put it lengthwise with the shelving,
People still have to
and you'll never have
Yeah.
issue. You can still get through if you need to, because you're not going to be using the forklift in there that much, so it's not like people are going to be getting run
Yeah,
over.
that's smart. This is why I wanted to do this.
You just have to make sure you've got room in between the packing stations.
You
and
would,
the,
you will. You'll have the
offloading
same
there.
distance that you do at the shelving.
Well, you see a lot of warehouses,
Well-
they turn the pallet racking into the packing station.
Yeah. You just got to make sure if you've got pallets sitting right there in your incoming and outgoing, you got to make sure you have room to maneuver your.
Well, most of the people that are packing will probably be the same people that are putting product away or whatever. So
Yeah.
Yeah, in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't going to be. This is a small
Yeah.
business to start.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a great idea. And then the flow is pretty natural in that
right.
stuff can go right by them, right in, right out, and then they can put the stuff right on, right on outgoing.
it keeps the
Yeah.
flow up. That's what it is. Keeps it open.
Yeah, because they're right where they're going to be pulling stuff right there.
Yeah.
They've got their workstation.
And see, right now we're doing packing and assembly in the same spot. I think we would do assembly would be almost become a separate team.
Yeah, it should be. And then you stock the shelves with already assembled product. That way people can just go pick when they need. They're not
Right.
hampered down with
Even-
having to put something together.
Even if it's the same people at the beginning, the activities are separated, so
Yeah,
you're not
it's
having
fine.
to clean
Yeah.
up one and then
yeah,
do the other.
exactly.
Yeah, because you have a specialized workstation over there. You're not changing things around and having other stuff in the way.
Well, and then I have the
Right.
ability to add more packing stations. All right.
Yep.
And I can make these whatever length they need to be.
Yep.
And the other option that's possible is let's say I wanted to do like kind of what I have here, where I have a 90 of some sort.
Yeah.
I could set this spacing a little wider. It wouldn't be quite as efficient, and then do like a little 90 off. But I think the way to do it, I think you're right, is just do it straight.
Yeah.
So you'd have your weighing and computer here, printer and all
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
with room underneath. And then this is where you set all your crap up. Probably actually leave the lower shelf, like I have this lower shelf open, and that's where they stage
Boxes,
their
all
orders, and they
boxes.
just pull it through.
You got your crates there. Pull everything
And
together.
that solves my problem. See, I was thinking I need to put everything in the middle here. It didn't cross my mind to keep this flow open and then I could bring these even further down if I needed to, depending on, because we're looking at these garage doors. I mean, this
Like
is
even
this
this
is
one,
20
you put
feet.
another
Still a lot
one.
of space.
Yeah.
You have this
Still a lot
whole
of space.
wall. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I can bring it down to here, because we really don't need a huge amount of space for.
Yeah. How big
for
are those
alcohol.
perforated boxes right there?
Which one?
Yeah, the loading ones by the loading down.
That's 10.
Oh, that's
by-
10 feet,
Oh,
or that's 9 feet.
yeah.
No, it is 10. Yeah, this is 9 by 10. That's a standard loading dock door size.
How many packing stations do you legitimately want?
Well, in the beginning, I want 2.
But then if
Because
they
maybe what you do is do every other one initially.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you
Give
give
it
here,
room in
down
between?
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah, so one here out of the way. That way you're not having to all right, stop working, coming through the forklift.
Yeah.
At least you have some open space to go
Yeah.
around. And,
Well,
Or-
the forklifts can still go around either way too. If someone's working,
Just
they
go
can
all
still
the way
move
around.
They
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
still move
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
The thing is you don't have to worry about backing into a packing station because they're running
Right.
this way out in the middle. You've got them at the end. It just utilizes the
Right.
space better.
So the key here for building construction, there's nothing I need to do at all for any of this, other than I need to know where I want to have power in the floor.
Yeah, that's why I say
Yeah.
distribution of power, and especially if you want extra task lighting or more lighting in certain areas, because
Right.
you use generally different lighting, and you want the lighting laid out so it's between the shelving units
Rather than over
them.
it. Yep.
Yeah.
And I mean, worst case scenario, I think it was at the Root Pit facility. They had power drop from the ceiling, so
Yeah.
if you really do need to move something around, like you got to put a
if you got
station right there for
your
assembly.
assembly station
Yeah.
for tools could be from the ceiling.
Yep.
Yeah,
So I think natural flow. So this would be kind of the break room area, kitchen area, either that or, like Shane said, somewhere in here, either here or here. Office. Shoot, in this size, I could probably put 2 or 3 offices, or 4 offices
Yeah,
up there.
and just stack them.
So do a few offices up there. That way I could do all the logistical stuff, ops, accounting. Get the the non-fun people. Keep them in here. Keep them away from me, as far away as possible.
And you don't,
I built myself another office here so I could see my empire of all glass.
yeah,
I can go from one to look at my people and see them.
yeah, your people.
No, you just have cameras all around.
Yeah.
Like 40
You can
screens in
spy
your
on
office.
them.
Yeah.
So the only real design thing in here that's tricky would be, or that would be important, I think would be if I recess the lift or not. Because we're gonna do like 6-inch, 6 to 8-inch, depending on what the loading dock requires, of 5,000 psi concrete. So I can put the lift wherever I want. 'Cause I'm doing scissor anyway.
Are they gonna wash in there?
No.
Okay.
That's what it's not needed here in Florida. If I build an exterior wash bay, it's just not worth all the effort. All that pain of drains and water and dealing with water in here or dealing with curtains and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about it. I'm like, I want to design for wash, it's slot drain, do a curtain all around, but why?
If you were to do a wash bay on that end, you'd put a roll-up door with a lean-to off it, just wash right outside with the roll-up door down, roll the door up, and bring the car in.
And once again, if we're doing detailing in this capacity, I don't think I want 8 cars being dropped off.
Just one at a
Like
time,
one.
one or two.
Yeah.
One in
What
stage.
if you
You
had-
drop it
Yeah.
off, finish
For,
it.
for, what if you had, from a storage perspective, or if you're helping out, you have a scissor lift, but you also have a bin pack 4-post car storage lift.
Yeah. So the problem with 4-post lifts, they take up so much
Yeah,
darn
they do.
room.
They do.
The only reason I'd want a 4-post would be alignment rack. That's what I would want.
Yeah.
Just out of pure convenience, I would love to have an alignment rack.
Yeah.
It would be a total waste of money, and also like an automatic tire changer too. That
Yeah.
$30,000
in itself.
Well, I mean, that makes sense for this because you're going to have people that want to come in and they want to have somebody that changes their tire without screwing up their wheel. So that makes perfect sense if you've got customers that are, previous customers and they
The
want to
problem
come
with tires
in.
is that, I don't know. It's the tire changing. That's a whole separate liability as soon as you start
Yeah.
messing with tires.
Well, the thing here is I don't not in the service business
Yeah,
here.
exactly.
I don't.
So-
Detailing would be a very, very boutique, very
Yeah.
specific. I don't want to get into I'm not working for other people.
Yeah.
I don't want that. I don't want that whole thing. What I want is if it was it would be more of because we can do it better than anybody else, and a boutique client, and someone who would want to come and hang out, and a lot of it would be more pay to come and learn how to detail your car. So we would do that, but they'd pay me $25,000 to go through it with them. So you'd learn everything I know in the last 20 years of my life. I'll teach you that in 5 days. Something like that. Or maybe it's $250,000. I don't know. Who knows?
Maybe it's 2,500.
Like
Who knows?
Yeah.
So what
Two
am I?
lifts, right? Is that what we're
Yeah,
thinking?
I think too. Yeah. And the more and more I think about this, the more I think detailing would be here in this building. This would be perfect. 2,000 square feet. If it got big, it'd be 3,600 square feet. I could have 4 cars here at a time, and and a staff of doing their own car from start to finish. I like the idea of having a single guy on a single car too. More consistency, or a team. Rather than like with the 6 of us, we're inconsistent in how we miss stuff. You do get it done quicker.
Yeah.
I think 2 guys. on
One
the
or
car.
two.
guys
And you
on
get
the
used to
car is
working
fine.
together. You have
Yeah.
your process.
2
We're
guys
just
is
kind of.
fine.
2 guys
Going
takes away
at
some
it.
of the pain.
It does.
Yeah.
You feel like you're getting more done.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And you do get more
It's-
done.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're like, especially coating. You got a guy that's just applying, guy that's going.
But see, I can envision the detailing part as, even though it will be higher level detailing, that would be the entry position to get into Obsessed Garage, and then you work your way to whether you're creative and you head media, or you're you're more operations type and you're warehousing or something like that, or you're you're training. So you have media, you have warehousing, retail, and you have training.
You know the product, you know the usage, you can
Exactly.
You learn it
you
from
understand
start.
what you're
Yeah.
selling.
From the ground up.
Right, so that's my talent pool. That's the place where you come to cut your teeth and learn the product line and learn. And maybe it's also because I think I'm going to have a call center of people to answer questions of things. Where we're
Yeah.
basically have salesmen,
Yeah.
people that are able to answer questions that people have. What do I need for this or that product line?
What about like a live chat? With those, you go on someone's website and
Yeah.
you can chat customer service instantly.
That'd be.
A lot of what my vision is to give people the information in the beginning
Yeah.
and don't call me.
Well, they'll have less questions anyway.
Yeah.
But there will be an advantage. Just depends on how big. If you want it to be a $200 million business, then you've got to cater to regular people. You're gonna have to cater to people who aren't willing to do the work, to learn the stuff, to watch the video that you made. You're gonna have to tell them on the phone, and it's a simple function of if I got one guy who can tell 100 people a day, and that guy costs me $1,000 a day, but he does $10,000 a day, then it's leverage. Then you hire 100 people you hire as many people as you need to apply that leverage. And do I want that? I don't know. Who knows? Do you want to deal with all of that? And then there's a question of can I hire the right person to then cater to those people?
Right.
And then do those people and that person justify that does it become a profit center? It's the same thing I'm thinking with detailing. I'd love to have a detailing business so that I can do the hood on the video and then quit and let them finish it. Come back and finish the rear deck lid and say thank you very much.
Well, that's what you did this weekend.
It's way better.
And you had us,
I did the roof. I did the roof and the hood, or the hood and the
Best parts.
Yeah.
Oh.
Parts where you don't have to hold the polisher up.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So what am I missing? Pretty simple,
So
right?
we got the lifts, we got the cabinets,
Yep.
Sonic stuff.
Yep.
Is that just gonna butt up against this? That's a long.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just kind of started throwing these in here to see. I mean, these
Yeah.
are 19-foot sections. I mean, it's
So
massive.
you don't have to. You're not going to build it all out at one time anyway.
Right.
You're gonna expand over time as needed. So
But I would love to
some of
have
it's just going to be empty. For
a
now.
darn assembly line of product assembly right in the middle here.
Yeah.
The other reason I would say that I don't know if you would want a detail in here if you're going to have forklifts running around, especially if you're going to do PPF, is you're not going to be able to keep it clean.
Yeah.
You're going to have to be able to keep the dust out.
So I
Those
think
forklifts
that's
would
what I was
only be
thinking.
inside.
Wall,
They'd only be inside, and they
Right,
They
but you're going to be opening those doors all the time.
Yeah.
And pollen's
Yeah.
going to be coming in and dust. And
this is going
Especially
to
cardboard dust. And
This is
wood
likely
and
going to be just what I'm doing now.
your
My
play area.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
because there is an advantage culturally to people
they
seeing
commingle
what's
with
going
it.
on. Yeah, where the warehouse people aren't just slaving away; they're a part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
My parents are
So it's more
eavesdropping
of a-
on us the whole darn time.
Yeah,
and
coming over
It's
and
more
the
of a
kid gets to see
demo
what's
scenario.
going on, and people get to see. There are people that come in and they're just in
Well,
awe.
it just makes it a
and,
better place to work.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it does.
Yeah.
To see the
you have
complete
that-
Well, 'cause it's
process and they get to
community.
appreciate
It is
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's same
People
with
working,
Chris, who's working on a lot of the clerical stuff. He gets to get out in the and see, or Bryce, who's doing, he gets to see the activity.
Yeah, you're not
Makes it
stuck in an
feel like
office.
you're not, stuck in an office.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
part of something bigger.
And so the commingling of activity. That's why, same thing, even though there's some disadvantage we talked about, putting people with different jobs in one room, there's a disadvantage to that, and that you're being annoyed by the dude selling to the guy on the phone when you're doing Photoshop. But there's also an advantage in that, we're rowing the boat together
Yeah.
mentality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because at some point, my hand is not going to be in everything. And I want to eventually give people permission to tell me to get the heck out of there. And I come in like Tasmanian Devil and say, get this, there's boxes on the end of that table that drive me freaking crazy. I'm about to go put them away wherever they're supposed to go. I don't even know. But I'm going to figure out where to go. And my dad has permission to tell me, don't touch those.
Yeah. Yep.
The only other thing on here is there going to be like a control room for like central air? Or...
Well, no, yeah. So all the AC is going to be held outside. Where Brian Orr is designing a system where the air handlers are on the exterior of the building.
Are you going to try to? You're going to
for
climate control the
pneumatic
whole warehouse?
Yep.
for compressed air?
This whole thing is going to be. So what I'm thinking is above this, or in this here, is where there's going to be a room of cool stuff.
Machine room.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just have to be heavily insulated if it's right next
I
to
like
the
to have
office.
walls, empty walls. That's why I don't want to break it up with air handler rooms, and
Yeah.
I like walls.
Yep.
I don't like a lot of windows and all that crap either. I just want walls so I can put stuff on them.
Yep.
Not like pictures and stuff, but like equipment.
Have you thought about a free and clear ceiling height? What you want height wise?
We're gonna do something similar to this, maybe 2 feet higher. So it'll probably be 16 with an 18-foot peak.
You'd have to be at least 16 or 17 to stack an office on top of there. You'd have to be a foot. Well, not quite. You could probably, if you had 8-foot ceilings in both offices, you could do it. It's in 17-foot clear.
Mm-hmm. So that answers that. So I'm not that far off. So I got to make a wish list of things, and then a wash bay I want to build as well. Here's my wash bay, right here. So this is what. So I'm going to build basically without the lean-to. I'm just going to build this, maybe a little wider. This is 18.8. I mean, you guys have been in my wash bay. It's perfect.
Yeah.
You got plenty of room.
Single car
And
wash
then
bay.
and then and then a 12 by 20 room. The only difference is I would want I'll make it a little wider because I think I'd want a utility room. Like if I could redo it, I want to do like a room for the. I'd want an air compressor out there. I want the Mosmatic drying system out there, and I want my pressure washer out of the room. It's too loud.
Yeah.
Because my pressure washer's right here.
What about like washers and dryers? Are you gonna have like for microfiber and all that stuff?
Well, that's the thing. I keep packing more and more and more into this little space here. That's the issue. So I've really got to think through what all has to go in here. And how would I partition that out? And that's why I think it's likely I'll make this bigger. But what do you guys think about this versus putting it back here? The thing, my initial thought was this is less useful. This back wall is more useful from a warehousing perspective.
Yeah, I would keep the warehousing in the warehousing area, keep the lunchroom and bathrooms away from shelving and all that.
Yeah.
And expandability. So if you
'cause
stuck
you
it there,
can-
you're going to limit how far you can expand
Right.
out.
You're gonna be
You put it right
crammed
there.
if you put-
That whole wall is dead space of roll-up doors and
It's
man doors
broken up.
anyways.
Yeah.
So just keep it there.
Because another option is I do it back here in this corner,
Yeah.
and I build my wall of cool stuff.
Ahead of it.
But this is 50. This is 40 feet deep.
I think it takes
this
away
building.
because you could at least put your list far enough in where you can still pull cars.
Like
Yeah,
that,
'cause
where
you'll
we
be
can
able to
pull
fit
one in
two.
behind it.
Yeah, because this is only 10 feet deeper than this building,
Yeah.
and I just think it's almost darn perfect. The distance from the door to where the car goes and all of that.
You want to put doors on the other side too?
Well,
you
it
afraid
depends on
you're
where
gonna
the
take
building
up that?
goes.
Okay.
A door. There's gonna have to be some doors on this back wall for
Like
fire.
a drive, so you can drive through all the way through.
Yeah, I don't know. It depends on the site plan and where it's laid out and how much room. If the building is here on the back of this lot, then I don't think we will be able to. Plus, this slopes off here, so it's probably going to be a stem wall of some sort. So the left side of the building isn't going to have room. So I doubt we're going to be able to do that. And if I build it here, I doubt we're going to be able to do that.
You have a wall in the back, kind of offset from the center, from wherever your shelves are going to go, and then you could at least get to maybe where your control rooms or air handler stuff is, or something, as well as your exit for emergency.
Well, and that would be the advantage of doing something doing all this cluster back here.
But then what do you do with that front space? What are you
Right.
planning with?
Well, this is where you would put pallet racking, but then you would do shelving right here in the middle. I just think it'll feel a lot less claustrophobic if you have I find you feel claustrophobic when you have shelving, but when you have walls and the part of the building, it just feels more natural. So that's why I think that this area is more useful as a office, utility, jam everything in there. And shoot, I mean, if you make that 400 square feet, you can make that 800 square feet right there between lower and upper. If you carve out 20 feet by 20 feet.
You wouldn't put doors on any other wall, would you? Garage doors?
Again, depends on what it looks like from the site plan, where the concrete and stuff is. So maybe.
Because instead of these two here, you could always consider this way, but then
Yeah.
you still kind of run into the same issue. with
Then
it.
where are you putting your cabinets and your
Right.
tools?
Yeah, I mean, you could do like here, pull the cars up, have cabinets here, and then this room. But
Yeah.
either way, it's
You could have, that might give you an option where if you did that, you have the same tools and cabinets on each side from a working perspective.
I think I'm probably going to have in this center section, these people will have rolling toolboxes. Make this like, F1 style,
Yeah.
organization, lean manufacturing. gun wand assembly of things.
Yeah, and it all drops from the ceiling. You roll it up, move it however you want. I mean, that's how I think a lot of factories have it that way, where you can actually move the workstation around
Yeah.
and adapt to.
Yeah.
All right.
Nice.
Thanks for the input. It seems that I wasn't that far off from what I'm thinking. I mean, it's a darn rectangle metal building. There's not much to it.
Nope.
But when you sit down and think about all the things that you would want, you want to
Well,
try
it's
to.
good to think about it a lot
Yeah.
of times because you don't want to miss anything.
And there's a zillion things. I know people are going to comment on this. Like, this is a $700,000 building. This is not a $7 million building. We're not doing motorized. Like, I'm just taking this. And the next step, taking what we have and just making it bigger.
Yeah.
And so we're not going to have.
Well, this is the first rendition of you actually owning your own place.
Right,
So it's not
right.
going to be what you're going to need in
it's
the
not the
ultimate.
final.
Yeah.
Right.
And, yeah.
You gotta pick their brains for what the positives and negatives are for
Who?
Parents.
your parents.
Oh yeah. We all sat in here and did the same thing. That's kind of my bag, you know. But yeah, there are certain things like my dad. Like I need a vice, you know, things that are which I'm going to do anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they would have said no to this, the way it's set up here. But there's certain fit and finish that I need to have done in order to, you know, be consistent with the brand. Like those shelves cost 3 times more than regular pallet racking.
Yep.
But in order to be consistent, I feel like, you know, it's worth the investment.
Yeah.
You know, buying Lista, you know, even like this, buying this desk, it's just more consistent. So there's a certain feel.
It does have a certain.
And it's
feel.
what I want to be in. I want to be in something that I enjoy and like being there, rather than you see so many warehouses they just buy U-line tables and it's just not consistent. It's lazy.
Well, and like you're saying, you know, when people walk in, everything looks congruent. You know, you see the nice Sonic cabinets there, and you've got these nice warehouses, shelving. Everything just looks like it flows together.
It doesn't feel
look
like a
oh, we're
warehouse.
hiding this over
That's what I want.
here.
Yeah.
I want it to feel like
It's like
I want it to
big
feel like a
room,
store that I want to go into.
big room with sweet stuff.
I don't want to go into Macy's. I want to go into Macy's warehouse. But I want Macy's warehouse to have things on the shelf that I go pull off of. That's, you know, I learned that vision came to me when I went to OGHQ, and everybody's so worried about the darn stupid goofy, you know, checkerboard floors and all that crap, and I just wanted to go in the back so badly. They had 2 shelves with all the products on them, open. And I'm like, man, could you imagine if they had these shelves but the whole warehouse open? And then that's where I got this whole thing from. You know, I want to open up all the Adams gallon. I don't want them in cardboard boxes. I want them on the shelf, open. I don't care if I got to pay someone, you know, by the hour to do that. So that way when people come in, it's like Costco
Yep.
without the cardboard everywhere. So if I can get to the point where there's literally no cardboard, it's just all product open, that's what I want. That's the story. What happens when the force pulls you back, your foot naturally comes off the gas. You have to keep your foot to the floor